And what do you want to talk about today?
Um, I think the last time we were going to talk about like croupers and how and when you would know when like if your saddle's perfectly fit and you know it's perfectly fit, but you still have things where you might need a breast collar, you might need a crupper or something like that.
Mhm. So um, let's think, because there's a big controversy about croupers, how brutal it is for horses and how it hurts, and how do you ask? Do you ask chiropractor versus the
Oh, I
hospital?
hadn't heard that. I didn't know there was a controversy. A
Oh yeah,
controversy.
yeah.
Okay.
So they are really against using the crupper. So
Okay.
let's use an analogy or a comparison. Where is it used all the time? In carriage horses. When a horse pulls a wagon, so they have a crupper for the sallet or the comet that goes around the neck or the back. When they slow down, what stops the buggy of running into the horse? Right? So they are hooks and they stop with the comet or the sallet, and the crupper stops the comet or the sallet to run right forward over the horse's neck. So
Hmm.
there is a tremendous force on it. Other where we see croupers used a lot is on packing horses, for mules
Hmm.
or horses, because when they go up and down the hill, so what stops that whole load from sliding forward and go forward? So you see it also in extreme endurance horses, because when they go extreme up hills and steep, deep down the hills, what really holds down the saddle, right?
Hmm.
So crupper could be very bad if it's not a proper crupper. When I learned to make a crupper, it was done with, what's the word in English? Sägespäne in German, but when you cut wood, you see a lot of fine wood falling down. What do you call it in English? Sawmill? No, wood spane?
Articles?
Wood spane, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Anyway, so these
not a
little
woodworker, so
So the little particles what fall off when you
right.
cut, right?
Hmm.
So that, or we use very, very fine sand that we stuffed in with a tiny little small wrought iron into a leather-shaped form. What was round was very thick underneath to distribute the pressure under the tail, and then very narrow on the side, which goes up towards the top.
Hmm.
So a proper crupper for the devices or the saddles I just talked about, it's key. If you just have a narrow strap in it, then it becomes controversial. So
Okay, so you would want a thick piece around the tail.
yeah, only thick underneath, and then when it goes between the butt cheeks up towards the top of the croup of the
Okay.
horse, you want it narrow, right? So
Okay.
so you want to give the horse still the chance to use the tail to swap off flies or to move it, right? So you don't want to interfere with this. So if we have a pony saddle, you see sometimes ponies are so just like a round barrel, so round and pudgy, and they have no shoulder muscles, nothing. Everything goes forward. Then sometimes you see on little pony saddles, croupers too, and even those
Hmm.
are well made. So if you look at the shape of a horse from the top, it looks like a pear, like you should.
Hmm.
So if you can look from the top, it's wide here, and it was goes
Hmm.
narrow to the top.
Oh yeah. Okay.
If you tie something like a wool, I used that example. I may have told you this last time, but if you tie something around a pear, like a very soft wool thread, right?
Hmm.
As soon as you put some tension on it, that wool thread zip, slides forward. So now think about a girth. If the girth sits in the middle of the saddle, the girth sometimes slides forward.
Right.
So
Well, like his bow has that forward girth line on him.
very good. Yes, 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 yes.
So.
So you hit the nail on the head. So here's a picture. The most um, horses or saddles have the billets come out of the center, just like your horse bow has a forward girth line. If you see,
Hmm.
this is the horse's shoulder blade. You don't want the saddle on the shoulder blade. Look where the girth line is.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost in front of it. So that leads
Mm-hmm.
us to the next question. Crupper or point billet? Because that's what you also asked, right, about the point
Right.
billet.
And he seems to always be bothered more by point billets almost.
That's right.
Like if they're too forward.
That's right.
Because then it's almost like they've been running into his shoulder at that point, like.
100%, right? So I'm going to come back to the point billet. So if you have a saddle where the billets hang out in the center, like I showed in the picture, just like the wool thread on the pair, it will go to the girth groove. And then
Mm-hmm.
it will pull the saddle forward. So the question is, do we do something with the billet or do we slap a crupper on it?
Mm-hmm.
A crupper will work temporary, but the billets want to pull the saddle forward. Okay, so you got two forces dragging the saddle different direction. One holds it back, and girth wants to pull it forward.
See, that's good because I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah, so the horse doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Not as much as the point billet. So let's talk about the point billet. What is a point billet? A point billet is where the saddle, where the billet gets attached to the point of the saddle. So when people say, what point? Well, each saddle has 2 or 3 metal plates. Very few have just one. There's a metal plate on top and a metal plate all the way on the bottom. Right there where you see the rivet, they rivet a billet on it. So once you girth it up, yes, your billet is in the front, but guess what? It pulls that metal so hard into or behind the shoulder, 9 out of 10 horses cannot stand that. That's the worst thing to do. So you're going to ask yourself, why do people do a point billet? The point billet is the last billet I ever would go to. Because it's kind of like, oh, my horse is really naughty. He's always run away. Let's just put a sharp barbed wire bit in it. Okay,
Well, and
that's the last.
some saddles just come like that now. I mean, that's like your only option.
Well, it's easy as a saddle fitter or salesperson to sell it
Mm-hmm.
like. But for the horse, it's worse than the crupper.
Yeah.
So now people listen to me and says, well, if I can't use a point billet, and if I use the normal billet system with a billet, with a crupper, that's bad too. What am I going to do? You do the same thing what 1857 was designed by the U.S. Colonel McClellan. He had a girthing system, and many saddles have that, what you can adjust. So you move the girth with the muscle fiber of the horse without creating a nasty effect on the shoulder. So let's talk about type of saddles. Do you have a Western, English, jumping, dressage? What type of saddle are we talking about here?
Right now, Bo's kind of in a jumping saddle because that's what his trainer's got and what she's got him going in. I have dressage, and I've got an Albion style. Of course, I've got your Schleese Victory. Hope I said that right. And then just a couple. I think I've got a Wintec that I used while he was still growing, like a Wintec dressage. I appreciate the Albion style just because it has different places for the billets to go. Like you're not stuck on that point billet. You can actually set them back in the saddle. And your Schleese is like that. So it's got the 2 billet. You know it. The Victory has the 2 in the front and then the ones farther back. So I have it set on the second from the very front. So like this would be the front, the first billet, and it's just set like here instead of just like right here.
So here is what it's really working forever. And they, in humans, even do it in big buildings or on the garden gate. What they do, they put a cross in the billet or a cross in your garden gate.
Oh, yeah.
The second you put a cross in, you get stability to the garden gate. Or when you look it up in an indoor riding arena, you see big wires crossed, like big X's. That gives a structure.
Oh, shoot it.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, you paused for a minute. I was like, what?
No, what it was is I can't stop people calling me.
Oh,
when we.
okay. It paused again. Oh no. Oh,
Here we go.
wait. There we
So
go.
I
Okay.
told the person that I can't talk right now, and people call
Oh,
and call
okay.
and call, you know. So, so where was that? Yeah. So the crosses gives the building stability, but also the packing saddle. And here's what people don't understand.
Oh, can you do the cross in the
Yeah.
jumping saddle as well with the short billets?
Some can, like our Liberty saddle can,
Okay.
but if you want to jump and you want to stop that saddle going forward, most jumping saddles want the saddle forward. So here's the bizarre part. Most jumping saddles purposely put the billets back so the girth pulls the saddle forward. So when the horse jumps, the saddle doesn't slide back.
Okay.
So you see on international top Joe jumpers, they dismount before they go into the ring to put the saddle forward again. So the majority of the riders in the show jumping world want to sit as far forward with the center of gravity as possible. And because on a dressage horse or pleasure horse what doesn't jump, one leg goes forward, that scapula goes back. So it looks like this. So here you have the upper arm, here's the elbow.
Mm-hmm.
When the leg goes forward, it pushes that shoulder blade back. And just because they're not like camels, they're like humans, in other words, they walk diagonal, the shoulder blade goes this way. One goes back, the other one goes forward. So that's what the saddle feels, except on the jumping saddle. Both shoulders come back because they jump like that. So just to show you how important it is to get off that myth. It's getting a little confusing, but if you do that, then you understand.
One second. Yeah. No, don't lick your paw. Don't lick your paw. No, don't lick. Sorry, she's got some medicine on her paw and she's not supposed to be licking it because she got all her hair off there. Oh, yeah. So I see her licking it and I'm like, sorry about that.
No, doesn't she have a cone?
She does not have a cone. No, it's not all the time. It's just once in a while I'll see her. But I'm trying to get it without the cone because she's super sensitive and her feelings will get hurt. She's an Anatolian shepherd, so she's just, it's a whole different kind of mindset.
Yeah. Okay, so when we have, where was I? Oh, yeah. So if I get you to pretend be a jumping horse, just go like that. Put your fist in front of your chest. Can you do that?
Oh, I was doing it. It wasn't high enough. Okay.
So most horses jump like this. But the distance between your knuckles and your sternum, you're losing at least 4 or 5 inches if you want to clear the fence. So if you see a horse's free jump, they put their fist on the side. Do that, like I do. You notice how far back his shoulders go?
Mm-hmm.
So if you would have a point billet on that jumping saddle, or you're in the belief that I put the saddle on the shoulder, the horse will always jump like this. We call it the lazy leg, right? But a horse
so that's when you see him like this, that's the saddle on the shoulder.
Like if I push my finger behind your scapula, there's no way you're going to do it like this because my nail is going to inject in your scapula. And you say, okay, I jump like that.
Wow.
But if you want to have a jumping horse what jumps clear, 4-inch more distance between their sternum and the pole, because they're now here. So you see all jumping horses, they will make sure they get their sensitive cannonballs out of the way. Mm-hmm. So why would they would want to hit it? So if you have freedom in the scapula to rotate back, they will do it. So you don't want a point billet. The next thing you don't want is what makes this arm coming here is a bicep where it contracts and then it bulges. So if I take a strap, like a point billet or a girth system, what fits in the forward position, I can't bring my fist up. So another reason why your jumping horse jumps lazy or your dressage horse trots out of the knee rather than rolls through the shoulder because they don't use the tricep. What are the triceps? The triceps are connecting the lower arm with the upper arm, right? Sorry, with the shoulder blade, right there. Right, and when you put a billet on here, like a point billet, or you just jerk the billets forward in the girthing system, you restrict the movement.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to say, what am I supposed to be? And this is what they do since hundreds of years to solve the problem. They just use the back billet. You can do it on the Victory and on the Wintec.
Okay.
You use the back billet and you put it to the forward slot. And then the front billet, cross it to the backward slot. And people say, what, they cross this? Well, look at nature. Nature crosses these muscles here. So the back billet goes actually back to the second buckle and crosses with the back billet, but goes forward now, follows the latissimus muscle. What have you created? Very simple. You created an X. The saddle is stable, and your strap is now away from the muscle, so it can easily function.
Okay.
You don't need a crupper, you don't need a point billet, you just need to cross the billets.
Does that help with side to side shift on the little, the little round?
No.
Okay.
The side to side shift, if you have a saddle that is too narrow in the tree width and too wide in the angle. So here's a good example. This looks like a very wide gullet plate, right?
Right.
Here and here, you see that kink? That is on the saddle. Western or English is all the same. What we consider the tree width. Forget a tree. So on an English tree, that is from here to here, where your D-ring would be. Okay?
Okay.
So that could be really, really narrow or really wide. And then down here, that's what we consider the angle or the arms or the point. Okay? That could be wide on top and come in on the bottom, or vice versa. It looks like this. Your Victory has a gullet plate where the saddle fitter could come with his tree machine and can wide and then bring the sides in. That stops the saddle from coming in. But if you have it narrow here and then wide there on the bottom, it's kind of like you have a helmet on. What is really tight here, it sits above and it just slides from side to side because it doesn't hug the side. Does that make sense?
Can that also be because of the way the flocking really is too? And I only ask because I have a duet, which they have those tube trees. But that seems to, ever since I had it, and it wasn't your people that added a little extra fill to it, but ever since someone added a little extra fill to it, it has more instability side to side versus what it did before.
Yeah. So when we stuff a saddle, we don't want to overinflate a tire. So let's talk about this. When you have a really cool car, or any car as a matter of fact, and you overinflate the tire becomes like a tube. You have less road surface, so your driving is becoming very unstable. Every tire, every car will tell you how much PSI you should inflate. So you got a flat surface, a stable drive. Make sense? When I stuff a saddle, that area got to be flat. When people say, what do you mean flat? Flat means when you put your hand on the back of the horse here, and when I put his hand, that's flat. That's flat.
Okay.
Kind of like your phone. So I use my phone right now as a example. This book would be too wide, but let's use this. This book here, this flat book, actually fits. So this flat book here is what you can put on the horse. So needless to say, the padding should fit this flat book. So if I stuff this panel, stuff, like round like this, you see that? I bring all this stuffing up to a point.
Okay.
What's the road surface on this car, if that's the tire? Really, really shitty, overstuffed. Okay, so now the horse, being the horse, this the saddle, right? You can see how little surface it has. So now the saddle, of
Yes.
course, slides from side to side.
Okay.
Now, if it's stuffed flat, so it has a nice full panel contact, like that,
Okay.
okay? You see what the difference is?
Yeah.
You have more surface area. So that is the number one. Number two, most people stuff, there's sometimes stuffing ports, special made to enter. And when they stuff from this side, and then the channel between becomes smaller and smaller and smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
oh my God, I got a hoop tree, and my channel was at least a fist wide before. No, I barely get 2 fingers in.
Mm-hmm.
Saddles need to sit around the bone structure of the horse. It is not just these little bones what sticks up. The sensitive nerves and multifidus muscle you have to clear, which is what? A human's fist wide. So if
Okay.
you can't turn the saddle upside down and get a fist between your panel, in the back, especially in the back, and in the front, your saddle will not only slide from side to side, okay, but on narrow horses, it will pinch and hold down. Here's a good example. Polo horses. What do you think? Are they more roly-poly or more thoroughbredy looking, like with high spines?
Generally TB. They seem to
Absolutely, right?
have, yeah,
And they have high spines.
yeah.
So this saddle, polo saddles, there's two types of sports where people ride back and forth to win a game, chasing a ball with a stick. One calls polo and the other calls polo cross. The two differences between those two is the polo cross. Do you know the game lacrosse, where people throw their ball to each other and have a little stick with a little net on the end?
Is that lacrosse?
Yes,
Okay.
right?
I'm
So
familiar
that's what's
with the name and what it is. I just have never really seen it.
yeah. So
So,
that's kind of polo cross,
okay.
okay? Where polo is just like hockey on horses or field hockey.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, and you can see it, think about how physical it is for the horses and for the player, because they're leaning from side to side to pick up the ball. So how
Mm-hmm.
do you stop the saddle? How do you stop the saddle from rolling from side to side? Two
You
things.
pray. You pray. You say, don't do it.
Number one, they use the crupper. Number two, they use the method what they call clothespin fit. Okay.
Okay.
So if this is the withers and this is the saddle, it's literally snaps on it
Oh,
onto
wow.
the entire spine. So if you look at really fit polo ponies, they have no back muscles. The
I
whole
noticed
back
that.
looks like
Yeah.
a tent.
Yeah.
So here is what the veterinarians say. When you pinch the spine, you don't even have to pinch it. You can run with your finger 1 inch away from the center of your spine, from the back to the front, and you see all the back muscle as if somebody tickles you. It's quivering and contracting, and you see how they're creating this pivot. So if you put a saddle on, what is really narrow, we call that the clothespin fit. So this is a typical polo saddle. Look how narrow that is. And that is
Oh,
why
okay.
that is like front and back. Okay, that is kind of typical for every polo saddle you see in the world. The cheap ones from Pakistan or the expensive one from Argentina.
Well, some of those really old jumping saddles you'll see, the more vintage ones have that really narrow look to them.
So what's the difference between polo cross? That's even in the heart of it. The jockey stands out of the saddle to catch that saddle diagonal out of the air and slides back and forth. They go with a very wide base, very flat, and a fist wide space on the spine. Here's the bizarre part. A polo player needs 6 horses. A polo cross, only 3.
Hmm.
Because they don't have the atrophy back, what you see on polo horses. So if you have a saddle what slides from side to side, on horse which is a little rounder, most of the time, you don't have enough space where the saddle can hug the whole saddle so it doesn't go from side to side. Kind of like a helmet which sits here instead of here. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very passionate about the cross girthing because you avoid the crupper and the point billet unless you play extreme sports like polo, or you go up and down the hills and extreme like endurance riders, or you have a carriage horse. So point billets hold the saddle really far back, especially for horses with very forward girthing area. If I have a jumping horse with a very forward girthing area, I'm going to call up my saddler and says, put long billets on my saddle. And you know who is the first company in the world who identify that? Wintec.
Oh,
Wintec
wow.
has the back clip and one billet in the front. So if you loosen the back clip, same like on your Schleese saddle, then that V is looser here, moves forward so you can put it to the front billet, buckle of the girth.
Okay.
The back billet hangs just on one strap. You move it away from the tricep.
So
What is
the issue, well, the issue I had, like, say, in my with the Wintec with that, is that I would loosen sometimes that one strap. I didn't realize why that one strap was there, but I, would play with it, and I would notice that one of the straps just would be kind of like almost like this, and the other one would be tight. And I felt like if one of the straps was like this, and I couldn't get it like even straight with the other one, then like there would be like a pressure point under there. So I mean, did I just do it wrong, or like?
Yeah, most likely. Where are you located?
I'm in Ocala, and I
Okay,
don't
so
use that saddle anymore. I just,
yeah,
I still have it.
it's very easy to have Denise. I mean, Denise lives there. She's around the corner. You can just check her out, all the information where she is. But keep in mind what the main difference is between a saddle, what have a metal plate or galley plate what push forward, will push the shoulder. Your saddle or other saddles like the Duet have the metal plate more straight. Okay. Instead of going forward. The difference with the Wintec saddle is made purposely going forward. Why would they do that? Why would they poke the metal forward? Well, like the Wintec, other companies do it too, to create a more of a flick. What is a flick? When the horse flicks the hoof when they extend the trot. We all hate this type of pictures. But some people, metal, hollow back, super on the tendon. That's what people think is cool, wrong bend, and the hind leg in La La Land. Completely the opposite. But the industry makes saddles what has the metal sticking out going forward. Like if you look at your Victory saddle, you can see it is backwards, it's cut out. Okay, so you see how this goes back. That allows the saddle to hover and cover the cartilage on the shoulder rather than break anything off. Okay? And then you cross billet, that saddle would fit perfectly. Right? So the difference between the...
And when you say the Duet is more straight, you mean it's
the
versus
metal.
this, and then this, and then the Victory is like this.
Yeah, so I'll show you. So, bing, 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 bing. So, one goes this way, one goes straight, and one goes backwards.
Okay.
Your Victory is like this, so that the scapula can slide underneath.
Okay.
So, great questions, because there's a lot of people out there with saddles that keeps going forward, and the horse starts stumbling, the saddle becomes out of balance, now it's digging into the loin. And that's why I said in 1957, Colonel McClellan, you see if I have that book here, designed a book. And the first thing what he taught his soldiers is to put the rigging system left to right side in a proper manner. What is proper manner? So it fits, because the right side has a different girthing area than the left side. So if we know all that, then I need a saddle what I can manipulate daily if I need to make the saddle fit. So let me see if I can find a picture of that, because people have seen it. And this saddle, God, I had my book for a long time in my hand. I don't know where that saddle is. Bear with me. Maybe I should label these things here. There it is. So you can see how the soldier had a buckle there and then can move these back and forth. But you see this tree for the shoulder. Look at the first ancient tree, how it always goes backwards, backwards, backwards. Never metal forward, right? So this is why we need to follow the money, which means why do people make metal what pushes into the shoulder? Because right now, that's a cheating way of making the horse extend their front leg. Sometimes they do it to the back. We push purposely in the horse's loin to hyperextend the horse, prevent him from cantering. So a gaited horse barely canters in a gaited race.
Okay.
They're not do that anymore because now Humane Society is a little bit after that. But that used to be done in the past.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like we can maybe talk about that next time. But
Yeah.
time is up. I can't believe how fast 30 minutes goes by. It's
Yeah.
like it flies by. But
It
anyway,
does.
I got my contract is here, so I'm looking forward to talk to you next time.
Oh, okay.
And keep up the cool questions. Really, really good. I hope that
Oh,
helped
thank
you.
you. Well,
Plus,
thank
we
you
have
very much.
all that on YouTube. Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.